We're going to ask if you would sing all of your answers during our interview.
Absolutely.
Yes?
I'd love to sing your answers.
Done.
Yeah. Okay. YouTube was never a pursuit. My first video was it was David Choi holding his laptop and being like, "You gotta be on YouTube." That's not how he's not an old man. I don't know why I made that voice. It was just a great way to get your songs out there and get some feedback. And I fell in love with it. There's a bit of an ego boost when you're online. You get some comments, some good feedback. You're like, awesome, cool. And that kind of evolved as YouTube evolved. It became more about creating something really innovative for the space, and because it became a business, and it has with the ad revenue that you can generate. I think content creators have evolved too, but you have to be careful with how you evolve, because I think you have to keep in mind, and Freddie Wong brought this up not too long ago, you really don't want to start focusing your content on views or what you think is going to be the best way to get views or capitalize on the hot moment. Like, really still at the end of the day has to be content you want to create and that you are passionate about creating, and I hope that I'm still doing that. I'd be lying if I said I have to check myself every once in a while, like, because behind the scenes I'm like, okay, how am I going to get that SEO, and I got to do the next hit thing. I got to make sure that I'm still having fun. It's very common to fall for your friend and realize, like, whoa, we have such a good thing going, like, is this going to ruin it? And if it's not reciprocal, then, that can cause problems, and you start weighing that, like, should I even speak up, kind of thing. And I was going through that, and so I feel like that's a relatable song for a lot of my fans. At least that's how it comes off. Outside of all the other, like, how did this happen to you, which is flattering, but yeah. 90% of my love songs are about how I didn't get the girl. So I think that's when I'm most emotionally charged. I think that's why I write so many love songs. I think, when you follow a mainstream artist, you're following them as this perception of them, and it's not nearly as real, and you only see them in that light. They're on a pedestal, so to speak, and they're a little untouchable. Whereas an online artist, you constantly see them in their real environment. And because of the vlogging and the talking directly to camera and the commenting, you really get to interact with that person. You feel like you get to know them. I did this with Julian Smith. I love Julian Smith's work, and this happened about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I was at Whole Foods, and I saw him, I was like, Julian! Literally, as if we're friends. It's like, Julian! Instantly realized, I don't know this guy. I've only watched his videos. And he was like, hey! And I was like, I love your videos. I see your videos. And I was like stuttering, trying to explain myself. And he's like, oh, thanks. I was like, I YouTube. I was like literally stuttering. I was like fangirling. I was like, I YouTube too. And then he introduced me to his wife. He was really kind and nice. I was like, nice to meet you. And I walked away being like, I am literally fangirling over a YouTuber right now. And I thought I knew him when I saw him. So I get it. I relate. I had a P.O. box for a while. I need to reopen that. Somebody just kept sending me old VHS tapes of Star Trek, and like with no explanation. Like not even like, hey, you look like one of the characters in scenes. Nothing. Like no, just kept getting VHS tapes of Star Trek, and envelopes with dirt like in them. Just like not even a lot of it. It's like he went. Like it was just with no explanation. I'm not looking right now. I think that's why I'm struggling answering this. I'm not doing anything. I'm just working. I'm married to my work right now, I guess. That's lame. How lame do I sound? Yeah, a little bit, yeah. It's so loud, so crowded and sweaty and hot, and you're like, it's fun for a second. And then instantly, like 20 minutes into being at the club, I'm like, this is great! You guys want to go eat? Or like I don't know I don't understand really why it's so much fun for people. It's ridiculous in those clubs. When I was in college, it was more like you were very inebriated, and it wasn't about conversation. I don't know. It was in a different mindset back then. Maybe I'm just lame now. I'm so lame now. Here's the perfect Friday night. I'm married. I have a kid. And we're gonna go see a Disney movie. I don't know where I'm going with this, but my point is that would be way more fun if I was already married and had a kid. I want to be married now, but I want a kid. And a garage. I don't have a garage. I'd love to settle down. Yeah. I'm into that. I feel like it would change things for the better. That sounds horrible. Like I don't want a kid just to change it. I mean, I see my friends that have kids, and it just seems like it just gives their life a little bit. There's a different purpose there. I want that. That sounds nice. I still have a crush on Tom Cruise. Is that weird? A man crush on Tom Cruise. We gave him such a hard time in like the mid 2000s or whatever you call that era, 05, 06, 07. I get it, but I just love his work, and I'm always excited about the next thing. Oblivion, are you going to see Oblivion? Oh, speaking of movies, and don't be mad at my ADHD here, but Gerard Butler in Olympus Has Fallen might be the best action movie I've seen since, I don't know, the 90s. I loved it. It's Die Hard meets the White House. It's great. A couple things, and I don't want to quote Spider-Man, but that you do have a responsibility when you become influential. It's hard to read all the messages now, but I used to read all the messages, and I still read a lot of them, but I used to read every single message when we first started in 06, 07, 08, 09. And a lot of those messages were just people venting, just literally, just all of a sudden I became their friend, and they were just like, hey, my mom has cancer. And blah, 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 and this is my day. Not even asking for advice, just being like, this is what's happening in my life, in the messages. That's it. And I did get a lot of people saying, thank you for your music. Your music has helped me through this time, that time, whatnot. And it sometimes puts things in perspective, like how well we have it off. I say we just because I think just being alive, living in the States and the opportunities that we have are just already, I feel like I'm in the 1%. And these kids all around the world, like going through their hardships, and some serious hardships. It made me realize that everybody is going through something. Like everyone is dealing with their stuff, and life can be hard for everyone. And so I actually went through a stage. I was writing a lot of songs that were about that. So I try to keep that in mind, I guess. Just remind myself how lucky I am to be where I am right now. There are certain negative comments you should stand up and speak out to. And I just did this before you guys got here. There was a comment that said, there's a million things wrong with being gay. That's not a message that I would want anywhere. So I responded back with, you should probably unsubscribe and find someone else to watch. Take care, buddy. We're so cautious of what we say, and we're trying to be politically correct. But if you actually do stand for something and you actually do believe in something, I think it is your right. I think it's your responsibility to speak up. I feel like you're not being true to yourself if you don't speak up. If you actually truly believe in something and you're not using this amazing opportunity that you have because you're an influencer online, you have access to these eyes and ears, and you're not gonna take that moment to help convey your message, I think you're dropping the ball. So when it comes to things like that, you should speak up. But the nonsense stuff, wow, you suck, my ears are bleeding. Whatever. I don't. You gotta just ignore that kind of stuff. YouTube's on top of the commenting thing, by the way. They're helping out. They've got some things in the works, I believe. So I hear. Right now, we tend to look at YouTube as a stepping stone to something else still. It's a place of awareness for a lot of people, and the word legitimacy is not really attached to a lot of the online influencers just yet, although it should be. I think the biggest issue is that we don't get the same sort of marketing power. And marketing is everything. You look at the shows in the traditional world, and whether or not you've seen Mad Men, you know what Mad Men is. I've never seen Mad Men, but I know what it is. Why? Because they spend millions and millions of dollars on P&A, marketing money. There's billboards and posters, and it's in articles, and it's talked about. And that in itself creates a brand that is worth something. They pay for a higher quality brand just by marketing it. It's so oversaturated online. There's so much content being created. There's some great stuff, but nothing is getting the same kind of support. There's no spotlight on something. Right now, the reason everyone is so concerned with treating the internet, at least for the better quality, higher content stuff, like an IP machine where you can take something and you can sell it upstream, that's still a big strategy in people creating stuff online for this low budget, because that's where the real revenue is going to be. The economics don't make sense online when you try to create something on a bigger budget and you're trying to make your money back on the ad revenue, because it's just not there. It's just not there yet. And until we actually create the right perception of what we're doing online, so that the brands can see, okay, this is not user-generated content that you can't trust. This is high-quality stuff. It's consistent. It's similar to what we're used to paying for, in the traditional world. When that happens, I think we'll see some of those rates go up, and we'll be able to make sense of what's going on online for creating content and making money from the ad revenue right there. I do see it happening, but again, we need some bigger success stories. We need some real success stories online. If I were YouTube, I'd probably pick a few content creators and projects that are online and really market the hell out of those, and see what happens. Because I'd be curious to see how quickly a Daily Grace becomes a household name if we support her like a traditional star. The other thing that's very confusing to me is that, you know, the network world and, you know, these linear channels, they work off the Nielsen system, which is, I mean, how much information they're really getting from the Nielsen system. And I mean, how many times you watch a TV show and you're like, they keep trying to sell me tampons. I'm like, I don't want any tampons. Like, I don't think it's smart advertising. And when you have someone's IP address and you have access to what they're searching, you can fine tune those ads and, I mean, really raise the conversion of viewer to consumer. That's a better place to sell. Why are the rates so far off? If I'm in the market for a car, show me some freaking car ads. If I'm in the market for a suit, show me some suit ads. Like, I'd like to see those ads. Now I'm actually interested in your freaking ad, you know? Like, but when you're showing me something that has nothing to do with anything that I want, I can't wait to hit skip in 5 seconds. Hey guys, thanks for checking out that interview. You can check out the full written interview and the photo shoot on New Media Rockstar. So make sure to like, subscribe, favorite, and share this up. I had a blast. I had a blast. I stuttered something. I had a blast. It was a lot of fun. I'll see you guys in the interwebs. I was really excited, so I started wearing these tie clips all the time. But I didn't know that the point is to actually clip it to the shirt. So I was just rocking tie clips like an accessory, being like, yeah! But it's actually serves a purpose. Like, it actually, this is what's to keep the tie from moving anyway.